Have you ever felt like your body was used, like it was just a tool? Like your value lies in what you can give, not who you are. My name is Sophia, and this is the story my family never wanted me to tell. The story of how I was forced to donate bone marrow to my sister. And how, while everyone was celebrating her recovery, my body slowly began to shut down. Stay until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear isn't just a confession, it's a warning. And if you've ever felt invisible within your own family, this story is yours too. Subscribe, leave your like, and comment if you've ever been asked more than you could give. Because this time, your voice matters. Camila and I grew up in a house with peach-colored walls and white curtains that Mom washed every Sunday. From the outside, we were the perfect family. 2 daughters, a dog, a garden full of sunflowers. But inside, things weren't so symmetrical. Camila was born on a Monday in August. I was only 2 years old, but I remember the excitement in Dad's voice when he told me, "You have a little sister, Sophie. You're the oldest now." That day, without knowing it, I also became responsible. A caregiver. A shadow. Since we were little, she had trouble breathing after running. She used a pink inhaler that I held when we went to the park. If it rained, Camila would get sick. If she got sick, everyone would rush to take care of her. And I would step aside. At Christmas, when I asked for a bike, she would ask for a teddy bear. Mom said I was the mature one, that I understood better. And yes, I understood that when Camila cried, my voice wasn't heard. That if we had an argument, I should give in. Once when I was 9, Camila tore up my diary. I cried for hours. Dad told me, "Don't be mad, she's sick, she didn't mean anything by it." And even though it hurt, I swallowed it. I grew up hearing phrases like, "Camila needs more attention. Sophia, help her with that. Be patient, you're the strong one." And yes, I loved her. But with each relenting I made, a silent crack grew in my chest. The change was subtle at first. Camila slept more, didn't want to play, and complained of weird pains in her legs. Mom thought it was growth. Dad said it was from not eating well. But I looked at her and knew something wasn't right. One day I came home from school and found her lying on the bathroom floor. There was blood in the sink. I was shaking. I screamed at the top of my lungs. In the hospital, everything went cold. White clinics. Silent hallways. Camila lying on a stretcher with tubes and wires. Doctors whispering terms I didn't understand. I remember a nurse taking my mom's hand and saying, "Be strong, ma'am. The girl is in critical condition." The word leukemia entered our lives like a lightning bolt splitting a tree. From then on, everything revolved around Camila. Her chemotherapy, her hospitalizations, her doctor's visits. I faded into the background. But something was different this time. My body was going to be part of the treatment. They never told me they were evaluating my bone marrow. They just started doing tests. Every day I had to miss school, endure needle sticks, answer questions about my sleeping habits, eating habits, menstruation. One afternoon I heard Mom say on the phone, "Yes, Sophie is a match. Thank God. Now everything will depend on her." It will depend on me, I thought. What if I don't want to? That night, while we were having dinner, everyone was cheerful. They talked about hope, about Camila being saved, about how everything was going to be okay thanks to Sophia. I could barely swallow. A few days later, Dad invited me to the living room. He offered me some tea as if that would soften what he was going to say. "Your bone marrow is the only one that can save her. We need your help, okay?" The word "need" sounded like an obligation. What if I don't want to? I dared to ask quietly. Mom turned from the kitchen with a look I'll never forget. "How can you say that? She's your sister. What kind of person thinks only of themselves at a time like this?" That was the breaking point. I knew any resistance would make me the bad guy. The selfish one. The insensitive one. My body from that moment on belonged to them. The days leading up to it were a kind of silent mourning. I didn't cry in front of anyone. I didn't speak. Inside, I screamed. One night I dreamed I was in a hospital room surrounded by doctors laughing as they removed bones from my back. I woke up drenched in sweat. The procedure was invasive. They gave me local anesthesia, but I felt everything. Needles entering my spinal cord. A feeling of emptiness. The sound of the machine suctioning out what was once a part of me. At one point I threw up on myself. I felt weak. Fragile. Invisible. No one noticed. After all, I was the hero. The brave one. The one who had to smile even though she was falling apart inside. I left the hospital with bruises on my arms and my soul in tatters. Everyone hugged me, but it was as if they were hugging a statue. Camila, still weak, smiled at me. "Thank you, Sophie." And even though she meant it, I couldn't help thinking, who thanks me for still feeling broken? The days afterward were worse than the extraction. My whole body ached. My gums bled. I had a constant fever. We called the hospital and they said, "It's normal, it'll pass soon." But it didn't. My nails broke. My bones creaked. I woke up crying for no reason. At school they called me a drama queen. The teachers told me to refocus. No one understood what it was like to have a body that no longer responded. One afternoon I tried to tell Mom that it hurt to get out of bed. That I felt like my life energy had been stolen. She sighed, turned around and said, "Camila almost died, Sophia. Don't be so exaggerated." I felt like someone slapped me without using my hands. That day I locked myself in the bathroom and cried until I vomited. Months passed. Years. No one mentioned my donation again. Camila was the survivor. The warrior. The inspiration. I was the footnote. While she gave motivational talks, I took sleeping pills. While she traveled with her friends, I visited doctors who said my pain had no physiological basis. One day I found a forum for former donors. There I read things like, "I never felt the same again. My family applauded me but never took care of me. Abandonment hurts more than needles." I felt less alone, but also angrier. When I tried to talk to Dad about this, he listened and said, "You can't play the victim, Sophia. You saved us all. You saved us." But no one came to save me. At 20 I couldn't take it anymore. I wrote everything in a letter, from how I felt forced to the physical and emotional pain I still carried. I didn't ask for forgiveness or sympathy. I just wanted someone to say, "What you went through was hard too." I left it on the dining room table, and I went for a walk. When I came back, the letter was gone. No one ever mentioned it. Weeks later, I saw a post from Camila on social media. A photo of her giving a TED Talk with the phrase, "Thanks to my sister, I'm still alive." And underneath, thousands of likes. Thousands of "What an inspiring story." I watched this from my bed with a hot water bottle on my stomach and tears in my eyes. I decided to move. To distance myself. To start therapy. There, in the gentle voice of a therapist, I heard for the first time what my soul needed to hear. You were a victim too. And you have the right to heal. Today I'm 26 years old. I'm still on medication. I still have after effects. There are days when walking a block leaves me exhausted. But I write. I tell my story. Not out of resentment anymore, but out of justice. Camila is now a doctor. I know she helps many. I respect her for that. But she never asked me how I ended up. And that hurts too. Sometimes I think, what would have happened if they had asked me if I wanted to donate? If they had explained the risks to me? If someone at least once had asked me, "How are you, Sophia?" Maybe I wouldn't be so broken. But today I use my words as a shield. As a flag. Because what they did to me wasn't just medicine. It was emotional neglect in the form of love. Did you ever feel like your pain didn't matter? That your role was to care, to give, to yield, and that no one offered you the same in return? Comment below. This space is yours. It doesn't matter if you were the older brother, the strong daughter, the one who always could handle it all. Here you can let go of that weight. Like if you've ever had to pretend you were okay just so others wouldn't worry. Subscribe if you've ever had to break away from your family to begin to heal. And share this video with someone who needs to hear that they're not alone. As here, there are many of us who were silent heroes. And today finally, we begin to talk.